Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, a special treat, some would say, when you see the headlines Trademark Division, $35 plus your filing fee, which, in case you don't know, is $350, but we're going to get into that and so much more. Ownership, ladies and gentlemen, protection of your assets. Make sure you get on board. You have a year and 4 months to get it done. And welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos because you never know who's out here looking for this information. But I have a lot to talk about first. Make sure you share the videos so other people can find out about it. That is the main thing because they don't like putting us out there to give you this information, at least legitimately, because legitimately means you pay damn near zero, because this is the no guru zone. All right? It's that simple. Now, make sure you share the video because the first thing first, 8 out of 10 people are living paycheck to paycheck, so I have to do this PSA announcement. You go to findhelp.org. Nonprofits can help you. Put in the zip code at findhelp.org and all of the help will be there. Some cost zero. Others may cost a little bit of change, but that's why you pick up the phone and call findhelp.org. Simple as that. Inside of America, put down your zip code to get that help. We have a lot more than that as well. Stay tuned. But let me see who's in the house first. We have EV Place here. Another investor's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Good evening, SSN family. I hope all are doing well. That's exactly what we hope for. And I'm sorry I'm late this evening. We have family members, especially one of my daughters is in town. So that is a special treat. My uncle's in town. That's a special treat. Everything's a special treat. So obviously I had to be a little late. My cousin's in town. Special treats. So, good day. But that's why I'm a little bit late, just so you guys understand. Familia, numero uno, just so you know. All right, let's get into it. EV Place, because he has that icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate, ladies and gentlemen. That means he's a member of the channel. You gotta love that. There's a membership channel here. That's right, these guys. Here we go. Post-retirement travel. Another investor is here. Another person that's into real estate. Another person that's into the stock market. Another person that's into making money while he sleeps. The top two dogs in the house. Once again, welcome post-retirement travel to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Hello all, let's do this. He also brought that icon next to his name, which I humbly appreciate as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you, I gaslit you. That's what I did this evening. I gaslit you. First of all, the trademark division. All right? Trademark division. It's a funny name, isn't it? $35 fee. Can you believe that? $35. That's it. And then they'll give you a trademark class. In case you're new here, come along for the ride. We got a lot to talk about. I don't really talk about this kind of stuff because a lot of people like to pay an attorney thousands of dollars when they don't have to. But nonetheless, let's get into it, because some of you that's going to find this video, just be careful, because I'm going to tell you something in about 5 minutes or less. All right. But first, I have to go over here. We got to set this up. It's a beautiful thing. I'm sitting there like, what do they mean? What's happening? Does this say? Does this really say this? Look at this. This right here, these guys. They're saying talk to an agent. They're saying up here, here we go. Trademark registration. Hold on. Let me see where we can go here. What's happening? Let's see. Start your registration. Okay, I got to submit this. Where's their 30? Oh, here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. $35. Case review, case preparation, case filing, direct hit refusal risk meter. Okay. One thing first, just so you understand, I'm going to go somewhere else. Hold on. I forgot about something. Let's do something else, shall we? So here's what happens. You need a trademark. That's because you want to protect your name, your logo, as we call trade dress. That's your logos. That's any markings that you want to put in the system so nobody else can use it. All right? Let's just keep it simple. It's that simple. Let me do something else too. Where's the... So I'm going to put in something, because this is what you're going to partially pay attorneys for. Some of you are still going, Eric, where's that $35? Don't worry about it. Hold on a second, because I'm going to take you somewhere else on another ride. Okay? We're going to go on another ride before we get there, because I have to put a link down here in the chat room. This is where you go search to see if there's a name for the trademark. All right? It's that simple. Now, this $35 is for a case review. The $149 is for a case review, case preparation, case filing, trademark alert, trademark secure, direct hit search, refusal, whatever. Okay. Then it goes up. In case you don't know, oftentimes when you go see an attorney, they usually say something strange like $5 grand, $4,500, $3,500. Then maybe I'll help you out. First of all, it costs $300. Okay, hold on. Let me start over. If you want to trademark your name and you haven't started yet, then you're probably, once you start, you want to do intent. All right? That's what intent to use. All right? It's that simple. That's $150. That means you have 6 months to upgrade to the normal price, which is $350. All right? When you file. So let's just say you're starting out, because you do have to prove you're in business. You have to send in a picture that you're in business. Okay? So you're starting out. So you don't want to pay the $350, but you can start out and pay the $350. All I'm saying is you have two options. All right? $150. So that way, while you're putting things together, you have 6 months. You pay up, basically it's 6 months extension is $150 every month. All right? If you go with that, or you pay $350 and you can get your trademark. Now, a lot of people aren't going to feel comfortable with this, but hold on. It's not that hard. All right? It's not that hard. Let's go. So I'm going to take you over here so you guys will understand. This is what I put in the chat room, is the link to this. All right? Uh-oh. What's happening? We got something going on here. What's going on? You guys didn't even see none of that. All right. Hold on. Let me see what's happening. It looks like we got interference. Once again, seems like a weird thing. Here we go. All right. So even though you listen to all that, here's the USPTO, United States Patent Trademark Office. Okay. Here's the search. So anybody watching out there just want to give me a random name? In fact, why don't you just give a random name? Stop struggling now. It's not trademark. All right. So let's just put it in. All right. It's not trademark. Well, obviously not trademark, but look at this. See, ladies and gentlemen, they have classes. Look over here on the left-hand side. Do you see all these classes over here? See all these? So whatever business you're doing falls within a certain class. This is trademark night, all right? Falls in a certain class. So when I go over here and see stop struggling, look at this. If you're doing pre-recorded tapes, so class '09, for instance, has something to do with pre-recorded videotapes featuring family and parents and whatever else. Okay, so let's just say we'll move to 007, struggling. Air filters for mechanical purposes. Here goes another '09, struggling. Downloadable video game programs. So, just so you understand, two people can have a trademark. The reason why both of them can have it is because they're in different classes. All right? The description tells you air filters for mechanical purposes and all that. This guy can use because that's the business he's in. This person over here is in downloadable video game programs, recorded video games, '09. So, what does this do? This stops anybody else from using struggling, or maybe even stop struggling, because again, they're going to go and tell somebody if I use stop struggling and then I start doing air filters, trust me, I'm going to get a letter. They're going to say, hey man, you're infringing on my trademark. And by every rights, they're going to be right. Just like this person. If I decide to do downloadable video games and I call myself struggling or stop struggling now, they're going to send me a cease and desist because we're in the same class. You got it? You guys understand? Let me hear some clapping. All right, let's go. Check this out. Struggling Stoic, which has nothing to do with anybody else. He's on 035 online retail stores. All right. Here goes another one. Listen, stop now, struggling. Look at this. Stop now, stop, Marcus, stop. I don't, that's weird. But anyhow, that's a clothing, namely shirts, hoodies, socks. So you guys see by all these different classes, which you see on the left-hand side, goes up to what, 200? Well, doesn't matter. 45 is good. B, A, B, and 200, which is fine. But each one of these have a description. All right? It's that simple. Stop sweat now. Look, this is medical services. 044. So as you can see, I can do stop struggling now. I just am going to have a problem. Well, I probably won't have a problem, but because you have stop pain now, you have stop sweat now, I can't be in the same class as these guys because they're too close. There could be something called confusion. If there's confusion, so stop it now. And here it is. Look, business training in the field of executive coaching. So some could say, I might need that trademark, right? So I might be in that class. Stop it now, we might have a problem. But I don't call myself executive coaching, right? So I'm probably going to be good. But the point is, whatever I put it into, I have to make sure there's no confusion. Stop in now is 0112. Message on the face of a bicycle. Say, okay, so bookkeeping, I would not have a problem if I was in that class. But the point is, whatever class you choose that your business is in, it can't be close to another name. Otherwise, they're going to call it confusion. And not only do you pay the $350, if it comes back and it says, I'm sorry, you can't use it, your $350 is gone. Okay, just so you understand, your $150 as well. And if you're paying an attorney, okay, you'll be approaching $7,000 to $10,000, just so you understand. All right, it's that simple. Now, some would say, hold on, I'll do something else too. I'll go with, let's just go with the filters. Here it is right here. Here's the class right here. So this guy, unbelievable. Did this guy do like, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's in 10 classes. That's crazy. Or is it 1? But anyhow, it looks like he's in 10. Anyhow, this is the whole description. So anybody that does air filters for vehicles, crankcases for motors, they're all going to be in this class. And he put himself in a lot of classes. So the point is, if I came in and used struggling now, stop struggling now, and I did the description 007 class, I'm going to have a problem. The guys, I'm going to get a cease and desist. You're infringing on my trademark. But if I come in and say, well, I'm doing stop struggling now, I'm doing video and other things like that, non-downloadable, because 009 means it's downloadable. So therefore, it would pass. This is what a lawyer and attorney is going to do. They're going to check to make sure that there's nobody else that's in your same class with a name or two. And then they'll do other things like, for instance, notice I have stop struggling now, right? I could be in his same class, but now I'm going to have to write a special disclaimer. So the disclaimer is going to say, I don't want any rights to the word struggling. I just want stop now. You see? So now they're going to go, oh, okay. But is there going to be confusion if he uses stop struggling now? And therefore, even though I can put the disclaimer in, the trademark office is probably still going to say, you're doing the same business. There's probably going to be confusion between stop struggling now, air filter mechanical guy, and struggling air filter. They're going to think you're the same company, obviously. So they probably would not even allow it. So that's what we're talking about. And you got to pay to find out. So that's why not just pick a name that there's no problem at all? That's where the problem comes into, right? So let me know if everybody understands that. It's pretty easy. All right, post-retirement travel. He says NVIDIA ripped today, 96.2 billion revenue, a 106% increase from previous year. That's right. Data centers revenue skyrocketed 117. That's right. The company is out of control. That's right. This is a must-have in your portfolio. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. First of all, you have to understand post-retirement travel. Remember, one thing about NVIDIA, it is a monster. But the reason it's a monster is because all the gremlins are coming to get the products from them. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So what ends up happening? The companies that want to be in AI and all of that are getting their chips from NVIDIA. Remember, the United States made NVIDIA the winner. Remember why you have the CEO going over with the president of the United States to Saudi Arabia, to China, to all over the world, making these special deals? They chose the winning chip company. So everybody's ordering from them, so their revenues are always going to be high. Their profit's going to be high because everybody's funneled through them. That is not really great. So if there's another company that comes out, another company in another country, all of a sudden cracks a code that gets ahead of NVIDIA, everybody goes down. That's why when DeepSeek came out and they came up with their fantastical story that they're able to do all this stuff that obviously they couldn't, but still people believed it, that's why the chip market tanked, because everybody that's buying the chips from NVIDIA in that ecosystem, that means they lose. But NVIDIA wins because everybody orders, not everybody, majority of people orders their chips, their software, their hardware, so they're the beneficiaries. If somebody around the world kicks their ass, then all the people below them is down. Everybody gets thrashed. They're done. But anyhow, we don't care about that. We care about if you were in the stock market to make sure and had that NVIDIA stock, like you should be holding it. Let's call it what it is, okay? We talked about this years ago. You have to have NVIDIA. You have to have AMD. You have to have Apple. I'm just saying, you have to. All right? It's that simple. A must-have is correct. You know, in 2022, it was only like 40 bucks, 45 bucks. It's split, by the way, also. Some of us are doing pretty good. Just saying. Post-retirement travel. Well, Brian P., Mr. Dividend, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And he says his tagline, happy day, Eric. Hold on. I hope all is well with you and your family. Happy day, SSN family. That's right. Smash that like button. We are making money in here. That's what we try to do out here. Now, spoiler alert, do not go buy the Trademark Division $35 or any program. It's scammers. That's right. I should have brought it out. It took me 20 minutes. Don't go over there and order anything from them. They are scammers. I just had to put the headlines out there because I told you I was gaslighting. All right? It took me 15 minutes to get into it, but I forgot about it. Some people might be clicking on it right now, going over to trademarkdivision.com and signing up. No, they're scammers. Okay? Because today, this is why I'm even talking about. Today I went over there and I said, there's no way anybody's doing this. Because, first of all, what's the point of $35? Well, the point of $35 is if you live in India, Pakistan, anywhere where there's Africa, they would rather have the $35. You're not getting any trademark. Okay? It's not happening. So their whole job is to make sure you either pay $35 or they update you. And what was going to pretty much going to happen is they want to know your name of the business. They want to know what your business is doing. Then they're going to go searching to find out which class. Of course, they're going to come up with a second or third class. And then they're going to say, oh, I'm sorry, it was $35, but that's each class. So you might as well get our $199 package because we're going to protect you. We're going to make sure if anything happens. I talked to them today just to find out what they were doing. I said, hold on, man, what's happening here? So I couldn't believe it. So I asked the guy one thing. I said, you know what? Why don't you tell me where you're located? You know what the guy said? He goes, we're located in Fresno, California. I said, Fresno? I was like, who in their right mind would live in Fresno? But okay, let's just say it's true. What's your address? He gave me the address. I put the address in. I get loopnet.com is potentially selling the building. I didn't look at the listing. So then I saw office co-working spaces, which I'm not mad at that either. But then I said, what's your suite number? I see this is co-working spaces. The guy says, oh, yeah, we're not the co-working spaces. I said, what's your suite number? He says, hold on, let me get my, he says, 2169. I said, really? So, you put it in Google and there is no Trade Division 2169. You know what's disturbing though? Trade Division showed up on my screen when I opened up Microsoft, which is weird because I rarely open Microsoft. I don't use Microsoft. So it was weird. And it was at the top. And I was like, dang, these guys are listening to me. So anyhow, that's why I clicked on it. And it said $35. Their ad at the top of Google search says $35. So he gives me the address, 265 East River Park Circle, Fresno, California, 93720. So I tell the guy, I said, hold on. So we start talking. I said, hold on, man. I don't see there's no suite 2169. He's like, no, well, you should come down and see us then. I said, Fresno, California? I'm a California kid. In fact, I'll come see you September 15th. All right? He's like, all right. I said, yeah. I said, I don't trust nobody. Because you've already asked me one thing. You asked me what the name of the company is. I said, see, that's a red flag to me right there. The whole reason that you're going to trademark something is so nobody else tries to trademark your stuff. I said, so you're already a red flag. I said, but first of all, let's talk about this $35. Is it really $35? And then you're going to, the $350 trademark fee? I said, so I don't pay you the $350. I pay the trademark company. They say yes. I said, wow, that's cool. I was like beginning to think that they might be legitimate. was thinking that this is going to be okay. I was like, that's kind of works. And by the way, I put the link in for the USPTO. I was like, that might work. So then we talk further, and that's when, like I said, I get down to this address, and then I Google it while we're on the phone because he called me. He said, "What's your phone number?" I said, "Call me," because I said, "I don't believe you." He goes, "What do you mean? We have lawyers on file. We're gonna. It's just $35, and if you want our other programs, you can go up higher. You know, $199 and all that stuff, right?" So here we'll go back for a second. Say we can go back to this, right? I forgot. We can go back to that. So, uh, yeah. So that's when he says, "Yeah, but we can do more. How many trademarks do you need?" I said, "I don't know, maybe 5 or 6." So that's what I need to know. Is it $35 each? So that's really like $200. Or if I pick the higher case, the 699, for instance. So that's $700. That would be $4,200. I said that then I might as well go see an attorney. Then the dude's like, "Yeah, man. Yeah, but look at all the rest of the stuff that we do. We actually keep track. We actually make sure everything's okay." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good." So I said, "Yeah, that's kind of cool, but," I said, "why don't we just do it an old-fashioned way? Why don't I just start with a $35 program? Because you said that you're going to do a search for $35 and double check and make sure everything's okay with the trademark and make sure that you get some sort of approval." Okay, that was another red flag. That you get approval before filing. I said, "That's very interesting, but okay, we'll give you a serial number." Okay, in case you're not familiar with that, here's what there is: a serial number, just so everybody understands. So he has some of the lingo right. Serial numbers right here. This is what he's referring to. Everybody has a different number. You can see it right here on the screen. All right. So this is true. So he's saying some of the things that makes it legitimate. So then, of course, obviously, they can only go so far because we have to get down to the nitty gritty. We do have to get down to this money. But anyhow, we talk for a while. I have a nice conversation because I know it's almost like he's bullshitting, but I'm like, "Hey, man, you know." So he says, "Okay, let me, so what are we going to do?" And I said, "Okay, here's what I'm going to do because I don't trust you. I don't trust nobody." I was like, "So I'll see you September 15th. So after we have this discussion, he starts going, "Well, yeah, if you're going to do this, you might as well." He starts the upsell thing. And then I said, "Nah." I said, How about this? Since we're talking about this, why don't you give me the name of a company or corporation or a person that you've done a trademark for? Why don't you give me some referrals?" He's like, "Oh, no, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. That wouldn't be right. That's our customer, our client." And I said, "So let me get this straight. You actually do this business, but you don't have referrals because why?" I'm like, "This makes no sense. You do trademarks. You're lawyers, allegedly. You're supposed to be lawyers. Why would you not have people that you're going to refer that they paid $35 or $150 or any of this? Why wouldn't they be happy to tell somebody? It's a business. That's why they trademarked their name. Why wouldn't they want anybody to know that you did it?" Another red flag. I said, "I'll just see you September 15th. My cousins live down there. You know, I'll just drive down from Sacramento and chill out. We'll have a nice discussion about this $35. So now the dude starts getting a little perturbed. He goes, "I thought you had 6 trademarks. I said, "I do. But that's none of your business. That has nothing to do with you. You're telling me you're going to give me a trademark. I'm going to pay $35. You're going to make sure it's going to clear. And then I'm going to pay the USPTO the trademark office the $350. So you're going to have a letter, right? He's like, what? I said, yeah, you said that you're going to find out if it's approved. You're going to have a letter for me. He says, oh, yeah, we'll have a letter that we can email to you. Dude, stop. You were going to have a letter. Yeah, once we get approval, then we'll have our guy that's going to talk to you and set everything up. He's going to do it. I said, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So then he goes, well, what kind of trademark do you need? I said, does it matter? I said, let's just pick something out of thin air. How about 038? He's like, what? You mean 38? I said, okay, if you want to call it 38. Here you go. This is what we mean. Here's 007, right? Let me show you this. Here's 007. Here's 009. See, here's 035. There's no 38 probably going to be in this section. But here goes 035, 035. 038 has to do with television broadcasting and things like that. All right. So he goes something about, yeah, 38. I was like, yeah, that's all I'm going to tell you. I said, it does not matter what I tell you. You might as well just pick 021. It does not matter because I'm not paying $35 today. I told you, I'll see you at your offices because I don't trust you. So then he goes, well, I thought I sent you over an invoice for the $35. I said, that's nice. I don't need to do anything with the trademark right now. I was just trying to find out if this was legitimate. You're not sounding legitimate right now. He goes, yeah, well, you got to pay the $35 and we can move forward. I said, no, you don't understand how I'm moving. I'm moving where I'm going to come down to Fresno to see you face to face in your offices because I need to know when I can find somebody. Even though it's only $35. But I said I might as well have a little fun. I haven't seen my cousins in a while. And I'll come down to see you because, I'm a California kid anyhow. No problem. He says, yeah, man, but we've been talking, get this, for an hour, ladies and gentlemen, while I'm messing around with him. He says, yeah, but we've been talking for like an hour. And so you said that you were going to get 6 trademarks. I said, I know what I said, but I'd already told you I'm not getting anything from you until I see you face to face. He's like, well, you should pay me. I said, oh, you're sounding like a scammer now. So, by the way, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. We got more to talk about regarding this. So if you think you're going to pay somebody $35, it's not going to happen. All right? Let's just get real. Businesses in the house, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And she brings her tagline this evening. I'm waiting on the completion of my website and logo now to trademark. There you go. I love to hear that. Hey, boss and SSN fam, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you. That's it. Oh, since you were waiting on, I'm waiting on the completion of my website and logo now. Yeah, because you're not going to, yeah, exactly. There's no reason to put it forth and no reason to tell anybody what your names are or anything. Which way are you going to go, though? Are you going to go intent to use or are you going to go $350 direct? And since you're doing, well, never mind. We ain't going to talk about it because we don't want nobody to know anything about what you're doing because trademark is an asset, ladies and gentlemen. Just keep that in mind. Trademark website is assets. Remember, you own them. That's real estate. When you start creating a company, trademark, the trademark logo, the trade dress, those are 2 different trademarks. All right? That's $350 each. That's $700. But easy enough. You got to submit your logo. And by the way, let's get down to this. Let's just say your logo is going to be multiple different colors. Then you need to submit grayscale logo. All right? Grayscale. That way you can use any color. If you submit blue, black, that means that if you change the colors and you trademarked blue, black, and green, that's your colors. So anybody else that uses something similar to you but changes the colors, by rights, you can, cease and desist and all that. But by rights, it's going to be on the edge if under trademark laws, if you're going to be covered. So if you want multiple colors, then you better put a grayscale as your logo, because that's the only thing that's going to allow you to do multiple colors. All right. So anyhow, that's what she's talking about right here. Colors, 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 colors. All right. So, by the way, Biznessa, you know what came up today? I got an email from Prime Wealth Advisors, and the website's back up. Can you believe this? A shocker. It's a little bit tweaked, but it's up. I haven't tried to withdraw yet. You can only withdraw Bitcoin or Ethereum. I didn't want to withdraw Bitcoin or Ethereum. I wanted to withdraw USDT or USDC. But anyhow, that's a whole nother story, ladies and gentlemen. This trademark thing, in case trademark division, $35, do not believe them. It's bullshit. All right? Again, hold on. Let me get my list right here. Here's their address. 265 East River Park Circle, Fresno, California, 93720. You can go to the bottom of their website and you'll see that's the address they give you. So on the phone, when I asked him for the suite, it said he goes, it's 2169. So you can put somebody's business in Google, right? So when you put somebody's business in Google, it's not that hard. But we're going to do something different. Let's get this off the screen right now. We're going to do something a little bit different. All right? She's waiting on her. So she's going to spend, if she's going to trademark her name, that's $700. If she's just going to trademark the logo, that's $350. I don't know. Are you going to be using an attorney? If you are, let people know how much an attorney costs these days. Or you can use just a regular description. So, okay, let me go do something else. Let me pull up this guy stopping now. Message 019. Okay, here's what I'll do. Trademark class. They have standard descriptions. All right? That makes it a lot easier for the examiner. Just so you understand. Like right here. See this description that's going to come up? This is what class 0112 is. Just so you understand. Covers vehicles and apparatus for locomotion by land, air, and water. All right? So that is the standard, probably. I would just say guess. That's the standard. All right? Here, we'll just go over here. So when you submit it, just stay in the standard. If you need to alter, that's why sometimes people need a lawyer. All right? Because they're trying to get a name across. So they'll say a disclaimer is we won't use struggle. We just want to make sure not struggling is okay and try to be in the same class. So that's what they try and do. All right. And sometimes you get approved. That's fine. All right. So look here. What is included in class 12? You got to love AI. Land vehicles, air and space. This has nothing to do with them, but just so you understand, water vehicles. This is stuff that lawyers would be looking through. Vehicle components, making sure that you're going to have one of these automobiles, a land vehicle, tractor, train, some of this. That's why you're going to have O12. If you have helicopters and drones, O12. If you're going to have boats, ships, yachts, kayaks, personal watercraft, O12. Bumpers, windshield, steering wheels, vehicles, 12 class, motors, engines. So this sounds like if you're going to have any type of vehicle and you're going to mess with the engines, you're going to need a class 12. All right. Wheelchairs, strollers, baby carriages, shopping carts, wheelbarrows. See all that? Okay. Hopefully you guys understand what we're saying. We're going to move right through this. The scammers are trademark. What do they call themselves? Trademark division. $35 fee is a lie. None of their fees are real. Basically, it's scammers. They're going to take $35 from you. Then they're going to call you up and try to upsell you, obviously. But the point is, how many people a day are giving them $35? Because most people don't understand that is not even a thing. And so therefore, you could 10 people's 350. And some people are going to pay 190, 180, whatever it was, 199 and 699. That's what's going to happen. They're going to talk people into upgrading. Then they're going to tell people, "Oh, you're going to need more than one trademark because what the business you're doing requires two." So now you're going to pay another $35 or another 199 or whatever their other number was. What was it, by the way? 149 is one of their areas that they charge. So they're gonna try and upsell you, right? Which is what he tried to do me. He's like, "You should get the $699 package." I said, "That's $4,200. That's crazy. I just have an attorney. What are you talking about?" So, anyhow, this is the trademark, so you understand. Now, since I'm on the free AI, I'm gonna do this. Hold on, not that. I'm gonna go put in this company. You gotta love AI. Let's go see what they say. Trademark division. Hold on. Is this company legit? Let's go see. Why don't we? Let's go see. Is this company legitimate? Let's see what they say on here. Let's see what they say. Let's see what they say. Oh my goodness. Based on a review of their website details and industry red flags, Trademark Division is likely a misleading predatory ghost filing service rather than a legitimate, transparent law firm. While they do physically file paperwork to avoid being a flat-out financial theft scam, they use deceptive marketing practices, hide substantial mandatory government fees, and mimic government organizations. Hidden mandatory government fees. No, they did tell you about the 350. I don't know what this 250 is. That's not a thing anymore. Ghost filing, sanctions, low-cost filing websites that use ghost attorneys. That's right. None of their licensed attorneys, they don't have them. Oh, by the way, I might as well just read this. The site claims applications are filed by licensed U.S. attorneys, yet it hides the names, faces, and bar registration numbers of these alleged lawyers. That's right, because there are no lawyers. They're lies. Okay. Anyhow, unlicensed offshore actors signing legal documents. If the USPTO discovers your application was handled by an unauthorized filing mill, your entire trademark application can be permanently terminated and zero refund. Email scams. Trademark Division is heavily associated with widespread email phishing scams. Scammers scrape public business registries, email new business owners pretending to be from a trademark division, and falsely claim that another company is about to register your name. They use fake urgency to panic you into paying for immediate registration. Wow. Wow. Despite claiming 98% customer recommendation, they have almost no independent verified reviews on trusted consumer platforms like the Better Business Bureau and Trustpilot. Enough said. Like I said, I messed with the guy all day. He was listening to my stories and everything. That's right. I even gave him some stories. And I said, "You know what? It's been, 2 hours, man. We've been on the phone 2 hours. It looks like you're not getting $35 today." He was pissed. That was funny stuff. I said, "I had time today." I had time today. Thank you, boss. I need the trademark ASAP. As long, no. Well, I can't do all you have to do is just go to here, I have a link for you. Just go search. You can find out if your trademark is gonna probably go. All right? You can find out. Just put in the name here. Just go there, search. And then you need to know what class that you're going to need. And since we have AI, you can just put into AI, you got to just put in the description of your business and it'll tell you, right? So I'll give you a perfect example. Just so everybody understands, because you guys can all do this if you're going to trademark. This will cut down on your time and cost if you do use a attorney. All right. So, okay. So let's say, for instance, I'm going to do, let's say I'm going to do a laundromat, right? Laundromat, have TV, cable, ATM machine. I need to trademark my name, right? Which classes would I need to file a trademark? Let's go see. See it? It's that simple. I mean, we got AI now. All right. Look, so here we are. 037 for sure. Do you need a class for TV, cable, ATM? Generally, no. Looks at your business, actually sells. Okay, look, but look, 036. Only file this if your business owns, brands, and operates the ATM network to process financial transactions for a fee. There you go, for a fee. And if there's an ATM in your place, you want that $2 or $3 or $4 fee. So that would make sense. And they're saying rather than just leasing the space. So if you're leasing the space, then you don't need a trademark. And then look here, only file 041 entertainment services. Only file this if you are hosting a structured public entertainment events or broadcasting your own custom media network inside the facility. Well, most laundromats are not doing that. So you won't need to do 041. But if you have an ATM that you're getting a piece of the pie from, that means you need to file 036 as well for financial services. Okay, but here what, if you don't do that, now you're going to pay $700 just from this simple setup that I talked about, because you're going to need 037 and you're going to make the money from the ATM, so you're going to need 036. That's why I wrote it that way, because I already knew there was going to be at least two you're going to need. All right, because they're separate files. So that means $700, ladies and gentlemen, to get your trademark, to file it. And then, hold on, I need 037. Look at this. Other classes to consider. 035. You know, some of those places, they're going to have the tailoring that the person can actually wash themselves and do all that and is in the back. That's why they got business and retail. You use this if you have a retail counter where you sell branded merchandise like shirts, tote bags, or retail laundry detergents. I'm surprised you don't have to do something else. 003, cosmetics and cleaning preparations. Use this only if you manufacture and sell your own custom branded line of laundry detergent. This is why you need an attorney. But since you have AI, it told you if you do any of these, that's another trademark that you need to file. So that makes sure that nobody can use your name in these other classes like 03. So if you did what 03 says, you have your own laundry detergent, you put it in there, and you got some other stuff that you're selling, you got to have 03. If somebody comes with your name and they file 003 because you didn't, now you say I need a cease and desist. You know what's going to most likely happen? They're going to go, hey, we're selling our own branded line of detergent and laundry. So now they're going to have their name in 003 with your name. Do you understand? Just so you understand. So they're going to have your company name, but or a version of it, because you can always disclaim one name or two of the names in somebody's company name. So if you have three names or three names in your LLC, somebody could say, well, I disclaimer the first name because my company name is this and I got 4 different names and a description. So part of it is going to be, is this going to confuse the public? That's what's going to matter. That'll save you. But if the examiner is like, well, it's not going to confuse nobody, and that person is trademarking 003, the other person didn't, I guess I'm going to let it slide. That's the risk you take if you don't file what you need to file. Just so you understand. Do not do shortcuts. I understand 350 is a lot. You need 5 or 6 of these damn things. You know, that's 2 G's, 2,500, right? So that's why it escalates. And if you need an attorney, well, then you might as well add about 5 to 10,000 more. And just so you understand. So you can do things like this. Now, check this out. Give me a description for each one based on trademark office regular description. All right, check it out. Check it out. So now you can go find the, let's see if they're going to give me the, here we go. Standard ID, manual description for your business. This is how they're standard. Laundromat services, hold on, this is not what I'm looking for. That's not what I like. But anyhow, these are the standards. It does look like it. Office class heading, non-medicated cosmetics, toilet. Yeah, okay, they are doing it. Standard ID, see? Laundry detergent, fabric softeners for laundry use. Okay, so they're giving you the ID and the class. Standard class. That's all you got to do. This is what an attorney does. But now we have AI. Attorneys are going to be effed up. All right, just letting you guys understand that. So that's how you got to do it in your filing. And thanks to AI, you can probably save yourself some money, but just be very careful because, again, if you don't feel comfortable, then you might have to see an attorney. But it's not that hard. I have friends who filed for trademarks a long time ago. They didn't have no issues, but they didn't go off script though. They didn't try to fit in with using parts of other people's names. That's the problem. People are trying to pigeonhole their name that they chose, and then somebody else has some close name to it, and phonetically too. If you pronounce the word and it still looks like somebody else's trademark, again, you're going to get a cease and desist. You can change the way the words are, but if it's phonetically, it sounds the same as somebody else in your class, then you're going to pay the $350 and no refunds coming. They're going to say, I'm sorry, denied. All right? So just keep that in mind. And what an attorney does, he tells you all this. He's going to say, hey, man, that's cool that you got media mantra, but the problem is somebody else has media and some other offshoot executive mantra. And they're going to be like, hey, I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing we can do. If you want to try, we can say we disclaim these 2 mantras and all that, and hopefully it'll slide, but he's going to give you a recommendation. Don't do it. Just change the name. Why even? Because you're going to have to pay every time you get rejected. Just so you guys understand this, all right? Quit playing out here. Don't be foolish. DIM pals, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. Very happy to see you in the house once again. Vester's here. Brings his tagline, hello, good evening, smash that like button. I see you. Bang. I love it. I was going to use LegalZoom. LegalZoom, what do they charge? So how much was LegalZoom going to charge you to do the trademark? Out of curiosity, let people know. Do not use Trademark Division. They're scammers. All right? Don't do it. They're scammers. Just stay away from those guys. Scammers. I was just gaslighting you guys because you saw the $35 and then plus the $350 filing fee. Don't do it. Don't work with them. Google. You'll find out they're scammers. All right? Good evening. Smash the like button. That's right. Give it a 1 piece. All right. Yeah, let me know, Biznessa. The Seamless Genius is what she goes by out here in the streets, ladies and gentlemen, while she's kicking ass, taking names. That's what goes down. All right. Okay, so we got a few things in. I needed. Chat GPT was helpful in regards to what I needed. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's simple, really. Just don't go outside the box. Eric, how did you like these emails? No, man, I didn't like the emails. You have me going off if I read these emails tonight. It's getting worse. getting worse. Do you guys understand? The Trump administration laid off thousands of people that had to do with the FDA, the USDA, the inspectors, the whole employee organization that checks our food supply. I was like, thousands? I can't believe it. So now our food supply is at risk. And like I told you guys, you better get some boxes. You better grow your own fruits and vegetables, as much fruits and vegetables as you can. ASAP, I would not be drinking, eating, doing anything. You're going to have to check everything right now because you're going to be intaking toxic chemicals. They don't care. Okay? Let's get real out here. No, Brian P., you got me upset on Monday when I started reading this stuff because this is everything that we talked about the first time Trump was in office. And now that he got to put stuff in place with help from Project 2025, they're going by that play. He has a playbook. He's just chopping down the list. Oh, yeah, this is how we ruin America. Let's just keep going. Supreme Court's helping. Beautiful. Let's go. They're not stopping. They don't care about the Constitution. Let's roll. While they're here, hopefully, we need this. We need these we need these guys in the Supreme Court because they're going to pass this stuff like stopping mail-in ballots. When the country was in civil war, they did not stop mail-in ballots. Just so you guys understand. This is crazy that somebody can keep going to the Supreme Court whenever he has a problem with the lower courts, and they see his cases within weeks. They are making this is totally not our system. This is not our system at all. This is insane. The guy can actually write executive orders. 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, it's in front of the Supreme Court after he went through the other other court levels. They said, hell no, that's against the Constitution. And then the Supreme Court goes, oh, hold my beer. No, this section right here, we're going to say it's okay. And it's like, it's against the freaking Constitution. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, Brian P. I can't read these messages no more. I can't. 900 to 1200. Okay, Biznessa, this is what I always have to be cautioned about. Is it 900 to 1200 fee plus the 350 per class that you need? That's the question. Because now you're getting into a range of if you need 4 classes, 3 classes, that means you're going to be paying $1,000. If they're going to charge you $2,200, how much is an attorney going to cost you? When all he has to do is go in his system and do a search, he might just charge you $2,500. If you're using ordinary description for your class. If you start saying, I do this, I do that, I do this, that's not like it's kind of a hybrid, then he's got to write it. Then he has to do other work, and that's when the attorneys starts going off the roof, off the charts. 900 to 1200 for 2 filings. So does that include 7? If you have 2 filings, that's $700. So it's really costing you like max 500. And does LegalZoom actually have lawyers? I've never used LegalZoom. I'm assuming they have lawyers. So 900 to 1200 is not bad if that includes your $700 filing fee. See, if it's a professional and there's no other fees, the only thing I have a problem with is one, I'm the one taking the risk. So my question would always be, and even though I was messing with these guys today, I said, what happens if it gets rejected? They're like, oh, no, it won't be rejected because we're going to actually know up front before we submit. I go, really? That's weird. I said, so wait, let me get this straight. So if I give you $35, you're going to send me the pre-approval? He's like, yeah, we'll get an email. We'll email it to you. I'm like, okay, this dude's tripping right now. I was like, this is obviously, he's on Scam City and doesn't know it. He's just lying. But most people would not know he's lying unless you know how the trademark works. Okay, so let me know. I understand. Yeah, man, not today. We'll talk about it on Friday, all right? All right. But by the way, I do like it because you sent me a lot. I was sitting there in disbelief, Brian P. Just letting you know, I was like, this can't be for real right now. I was just like, this, it's like an ongoing onslaught of hurting Americans. I mean, it's just, it never stops. Never stops. It's just crazy. Just insane. Hold on a quick. Hold on a second. Let me see if I logged in on the right Microsoft. Gatekeepers. They're going to make me, let's see if I'm in the right location. Yeah, of course. Let's see. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my, this is not gonna end well. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna probably have a problem here. Let's see. This is crazy. So anyhow, if you're joining me, make sure you guys smash that like button because you never know what the YouTube gods are out here trying to do. Also, uh-oh, wait a minute. Looks like we're gonna be in. So maybe you're off the hook, or I'm gonna be off the hook. Just letting you know, trademark division is a scam. I gaslit you because of the $35 fee. That's not true. That's not real. They were only going to try and get you to give them $35 and then try to upsell you with another person that's going to act like a lawyer when they're not lawyers. All right? I should have been talking to a lawyer instead of talking to some front man. But you talk to a front man when they're scammers. All right. Kia recalls more than 21,000 EV9 SUVs over child airbag injury risk. This is crazy. Uh-oh. Baxter issues voluntary nationwide recall for one lot of cent dextrose injection due to potential presence of particulate matter. Yikes. Our Australia's music industry bans AI songs from charts. Good. They should. If I make music, okay, let's just get things straight. The same listen, Amazon. I'll use them as an example. I make a product. I have it even patented. I sell it on Amazon. Amazon goes and makes a knockoff in China. They remove me because I'm selling a lot from the front page, from their ecosystem, their algorithm. They replace me with theirs. Everybody thinks it's the same thing. Now they're taking all the sales that I was getting and move me to the back. This is what AI is doing with music. They're using people's music that they stole, fed it into the AI, so the AI now can create music based on stolen music. And then they want people to make this AI music and pass it off as the people that put in prompts is that made this AI music, I want to say garbage, but made this AI music now is going to compete with real people and get paid after they stole people's music. I'm like, dang, America should have already handled this. It should have been the same thing. They should have just said, hey, man, if it's AI, you have to say it's AI and you have to do other things. And no, you're not going to be on the charts with us. You're not going to get royalties. No, you stole people's music. What is this? You stole people's music. They own it. You didn't give them any licensing fee. You didn't call them up and say, hey, man, do you mind if I use your style of music or take it, put it in the AI machine? An artist is going to say, hell effing no. They're not going to allow you to do that so you can use their music to compete against them. I want music to sound like Prince. Suno AI, Treblo AI can do that because they trained on Prince's music. So now the song and the voice eerily similar to Prince. Now that person goes and puts it on Spotify. Spotify plays it. It gets, let's just say it gets 1,000 minutes. Well, guess what happens when they start giving out real artists their royalties? That 1,000 minutes that place earned, they take it away from real artists. So it's common sense that you should be like, hell no. After they stole people's music too? Come on, man. Anyhow, don't get me started. I hate when people steal people's stuff, take credit for it, and then try to sell it and get away with it. Like Amazon. Clowns. All right, anyhow, let me get back to this. Rice recall update 55,000 pounds in 12 states for foreign matter. Oh my. Oh my. Which 12 states oh my. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian P. Listen, man, you get me heated when I listen and watch this stuff. This is insane right now. This is insane. Rice recall update. Hold on, let me get back on real quick. Because I got DIM pals. I got, yeah, 2 classes. Hold on, what happened here? Are we having a problem? Who's in TU? Thank you so much for being in that. Make sure you guys dollars each class. Or you may be able to go to LegalZoom and Business says it's going to cost her $900 to $1,200, which I still am not clear if it's going to be. Does that include her 2 classes for $700? If it includes 2 classes for $700, $900 would be a deal. $1,200 is $500. It'd still be a deal. As long as you don't have to go see an attorney that's going to say $5,000 or $10,000, and these guys for $900 or $1,200 can do the same thing, now you're talking. Now, you might have 900 to 1,200 plus the 700. We don't know yet. We'll see what she says down below. But let's get down with this Rice stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. This Rice recall. What is this? This is insane right now. Hold on, get this stuff cleared up. Yeah, those guys are scammers. Exactly. You got that right. And that's why they were so cheap. I had to call, though. All right, that happens even for filing an LLC. You can file it yourself, but people pay like 100 extra. That's true. That is very true. Exactly, because people don't feel comfortable with it. So that I understand. But still, like the nine, if it's gonna, but let me know, business. Is it 900? Let everybody know. Does that include your $700, or do you have to pay 900 to 1,200 plus $700? That's what we need to know. All right, here we are. We are here. Rice recall 12 states for foreign matter. That means, Jesus. Okay. Uh, like the recent one, Ben's original, possible presence of stones. So Uncle Ben's, ladies and gentlemen, having seemed to reveal that at times the farming and production conditions may allow for pebbles or sediment from the paddy to remain in the product. After all, the USA Rice Federation describes rice's ideal growing conditions as being in heavy clay and silt is wild. They're doing it again. See, this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you're in the no guru zone. You guys think you know what country you live in, don't you? It's funny when we talk about real stuff. This is asset protection right here. When you start a business and you're going to do some business that's going to be dealing that could play things and you just name nobody else can have it or copy it or do anything, you're going to trademark it. Then happen. Stop. No yays? Okay, all say. Who's going to say all say aye? Or all say nay? Three nays. Oops. Guess that charging order is not going to happen today. You guys understand? All right. If anybody has any questions, you know where to find me. Support at stopstrugglingnow.com. I am not a lawyer. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just your friendly neighborhood no guru zone. Okay, let's go. Here we go. The 350 is the additional for each class that's needed. Okay, here we go. Yeah, boss, LegalZoom is expensive. They charge $8.99 package, which includes the search and attorney guidance, prep, and filing. Okay, business, so that's not expensive. That's not expensive. For it might be expensive, but it's not expensive. It's $900. If they're gonna search, they're gonna make sure with the guidance, the prep guidance and filing, and they're going to have lawyers that sign off on it, and therefore you got a clear runway because it's distinctive. Like I was saying, if I use any name for business and you see somebody, a lot of people do the one name thing, like I saw struggling, right? People just want that name in that class. That blocks other people in that class from using struggling, right? Somewhat. So now what ends up happening, I go into the struggling and I'm in their same class, class 007, and I say, stop struggling now. And I want 007, then I say, I need your lawyer's going to write, I need a disclaimer where I don't want to take claim to struggling to the examiner. And then more than likely I would be able to get Stop Struggling Now in their same, in not in '07 though. See, that's the problem. Will they let me? It all depends on what I tell them I'm doing with my business. So, in other words, let's say they're doing, I can't remember what they were doing, but let's just say whatever. Do I still have it up? No, I don't. They were doing something with regards to bicycles, or so they're doing something with bicycles. So if I say I'm doing something with boats, parasailing, then they're going to go, oh, wait, nobody's going to be confused by Stop Struggling Now doing boats and parasailing, because struggling is doing bicycles. They're not even in the same thing. So saying I disclaim the word struggling and I want stop and now, but it's all three, but I disclaim. So then you write the description accordingly, and that's where you need a lawyer. And that's what they're going to do for $8.99 in case you have some nuances that you need and somebody's in your same class that has a name that's 2 words out of your 3 or 2 words out of your 4. That's still grounds for not being approved. So your attorney can help you out. So $8.99, that's cheap, in my opinion, because I'm old school. I remember when it used to be $7,500, a trademark attorney would say. All right, especially after you start saying I have 2 or 3 or 4. All right, so just keep that in mind. Also, business, are you going to do a holding company structure? All right, it's 900 plus 350, so it's 1250 if you file only one class. Absolutely worth it for what I'm done. Exactly. And if you got to file 2, you better file the 2, because the worst thing that can happen is somebody else has a similar name and they file in the class that you're going to need. That ain't going to work. All I'm going to say, because then now the funny part is if somebody uses a name similar to you, they can send you a cease and desist. That's what's funny about this. So that's why when you're putting in some high-powered companies, like I said, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, January 9th, 2028. But you guys are going to know about it before then, because by then I'll have everything sorted out. And I can't do anything. Like I told you guys, there's a liability issues. And the bottom line to the story is the only liability that I'm going to have, I'm going to make sure it's them assholes that I'm kicking their ass. And we got help from the SSN Nation member. I love it. That's an actual added bonus. That's a huge bonus for me. All I can say. I get excited when I talk about this because nobody can stop it. And, oh my God, this little situation is the best thing ever. You guys know how excited I was like 4 or 5 months ago, right? 3 months ago. You know how excited I was. Wait. You know what happens when you give somebody with time on their hands and they don't have nothing else to think about, and then things, you just start looking around and saying, you know what? Let me check something else out since I'm sitting around. And I'm like, you can't be serious right now. I can do this? This is missing. Oh my goodness. They effing up again. I'm going to take advantage. When I say they're effing up, in case you're new here, I'm talking about the millionaires and billionaires that control a lot of what it goes on around the world. And I get excited, in case you're new here, I get excited when I can F them up. What I mean by that is take a part of their shares, or, you know what the best thing is? If I'm taking billions of dollars out of their pockets. That's the kind of time we on, okay? And compete against them at the same time and talk smack. And be innovative, be faster, be quicker, and kick their ass. That's what the goal is always. And that's what's going down. It's 900 plus 350 for 1250. So I'm talking all this smack. Yeah, I might have to file 3. If you're doing any significant business, generally, you are going to file 3, because part of your business is going to roll over into something else that the trademark office will say, if somebody files in that class, then they may say, oh yeah, we're going to let them in because you filed in these other classes. There's not going to be any confusion. Just like I was saying about the struggling and they're doing bicycles. Now I have a boat and paragliding. Now they're going to go, oh, nobody's going to confuse stop struggling now with struggling. But if I was stop struggling now and I had to say, well, I'm going to do something with bicycles, okay, not going to happen even with my disclaimer. You see what I'm saying? So if something is 3, that means 3. That's 1,050. So the thing though is $899. If they charge $900, that's reasonable. I mean, seriously, that is reasonable. So it'll be interesting. I want it to be protected, boss. My genius isn't on overload with this one. Hey, I'm with you. Seamless genius. I'm inspired. I'm inspired. All right. Thank you for always inspiring us and being here and telling us about these crazy things. The seamless genius is here. I'm inspired myself because what we're going to do with the help of SSN Nation member, it's incredible. And the reason why it's incredible is, like I told you, it's taking on corporations that you guys know. They're out here doing so much dirt. They're making all this money, claiming, oh, there's no money in this, there's no money in that. Yeah, that's right, because you get back-end money that you don't like to tell people about. That's right, we're going to unlock it, and we're going to get some of it. So it just matters on how much of it we're going to siphon off of your sorry asses. Okay. I'm going to be talking big mess because this has been a goal of mine for a while. I just never had any way to do it until now because we didn't have this 30, 40 years back. So I would not be privy to the information, nor would I be able to pull it off because they're gatekeepers. They're very good at this. All right. They're very good. So we're about to put our little, we're going to dip our toes into pools that basically have numbers all combined, $1 trillion, $1 trillion, $1 trillion. And there's only a few companies that's going to be even in the same areas. We're going to be right with them. And we're going to be kicking their ass. And they can't even do nothing. And by the way, they're even going to be paying us. Oh yeah, I got that in there too. They're going to have to pay us to compete on some of these levels. Because they're not going to have the information. But we are. Because they're looking at some other information. We're going to use other information. And by the way, when they bring their bots and all that crap, we're going to have panels. Use it as an advertising. Be like, look at the Google. Look at their little web crawler. Look at that Apple. Look. Hey, look at all of these trying to get in our system and we're blocking them. That's why you should be with us. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't let me get excited. This trademark talk got me excited. Just so you guys know, I can tell you, we're going to have 6. We're going to have 6 trademarks. That's right. And maybe even 7. But right now, it was going to be 5. But because I've come along with some other stuff, now it's going to be 6. And before this is over, because the longer I sit here, the more I get to look at stuff, they're probably going to be 7 in the end. I haven't no reason for a 7 right now, but I haven't went through all the gates yet. There's another ass kicking I need to get to. And some of you don't understand. I have a list. Business gatekeepers that rob, steal, and just upright sue us mentality. Those are the industries I'm going after. I've always wanted to bust their ass. So that's why, again, I'm passionate about this because I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. They're going to do their usual playbook, and their playbook is ugly. So don't be surprised if 2029 and a half, I have legal trouble and I'm on the news talking about some activity that I didn't do, but the DOJ is going to be standing in front of the camera. Oh, this is what the guy did. And then I'm just going to, in this era, I have to bring the receipts early. I'll be like, no, that ain't what happened. That's not, that didn't happen. Yeah, this time we can bring receipts. People ain't going to be sitting there going, no, man, you must have did something. No, we kicking their ass. That's what's happening. All right, man, I'm having enough fun. I got to run, ladies and gentlemen. It's 1 hour and 26 minutes. My daughter, my uncle, my cousins, everybody's coming around in town. So tomorrow I'm going to be hanging with them. I don't want to be staying up too late. So I love you guys very much. If anybody wants to talk about trademarks, just put it down below. This is the No Guru Zone. I don't have a course. All right? I don't have a course. So I gave you a little bit of information. That's basically what I gave you is the crux of the problems. There's really not that much to it. It's just like Biznessa said. When you go down to get an LLC, what do? You go search to make sure nobody has your same name. That's the same thing you do, right? It's the same thing. So there's no problem. It's the same. So the only thing is, if 350 matters to you or 700 matters to you, and you're a little like, I can't lose that money. Some people, you can lose the money. So like, for instance, I know a lot of people, so I have advantages, right? So I'm just going to have an attorney's just look over my stuff, not even charge me. You know, just like I have my accountant friend, that would be Mr. Speller from the Technologies, Turner Technology in the Bay Area. He's an accountant. He's familiar with all of the online accountings. He's familiar with the holding company structures, the Silicon Valley structures that they do. Turner, all right? Turner Technology and Accounting, Bay Area. Robert Speller. Go see him, all right? In fact, maybe one of these days I'll have him on. In fact, I'm going to see him in 2 months. I think so. I'm going to see him in 2 months. So that means we're going to be in the same room at the same time. So if it's a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, he'll be on. That's right. An accountant, ladies and gentlemen, will be on the house. A corporate accountant will be in the house. A guy that does stuff with Silicon Valley bigwigs, accountant, will be in the house. Just saying, that's the type of people you want as your accountant, don't you? Okay. All right. Let's do something else. We got some AI to attend to because Matthew Lesko, other people, you need that findhelp.org. All right. If you guys have any questions, let it be known. Don't be shy out here. Findhelp.org. But not only do we have findhelp.org. Uh-oh, hold on a second. I got to do something. We also have Matthew Lesko breaking out some AI for us. So Lesko, Lesko, lovesai.com/business. Go do it. Go put in your zip code or put in your city and state. Go do it. All right. I'm going to put a link down below in the description box so you guys will have it on several different platforms. And I'm also going to put it here. Where's the AI at? I need to find that. What happened? I have some things going on in the background that I'm not liking because I can't find it. We need the AI. Where is it? It's not here. That's not good. Okay, let's see how this looks. I got your unstoppable domains out. You guys see that? Don't forget, get your unstoppable domains. Okay. Hey, boss, take your money out of Prime Wealth. Yes, I will try after this live stream. I just found out 10 minutes before because my email came saying I got $8.70 some cents from Prime Wealth. And I was like, what? What's this? Then I actually logged in, but then that's one of the reasons I was a little bit late because I was like, oh, I'm late. I can't watch this right now. Because I was looking around for withdrawal. And then I went to withdrawal and I was like, damn, I got to withdraw either Bitcoin or Ethereum. But the question is, Biznessa, can we withdraw all of it? Because, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I put $219 in there. So all these months, it's up to $399. Just so you know. So I got an extra 170 bucks or roughly thereabouts, 75 bucks. So, or no, 399, that's almost 400. So that's 183. So for 4 or 5 months, I got $16 per month. I guess that's about right. Or $16 per week. So that's about right. $64. That's cool. All right. If anybody wants to know, I still have my Larimar City and Resort timeshare. They sent over the guy the contract, but true to form, the contract did not show the updated amount. Shocker, right? Not really. And so 2 days have passed. They have not sent a new contract with just numbers updated. So we're waiting on day 4 is tomorrow. After a 4-week ordeal just to get the numbers straight after sending a receipt 4 weeks ago, now we're waiting almost a week Friday for a contract. Slow rolling. All right. Just let me know. I will. 3. Okay, let me double check this. Yeah, you're going to have to do the protection status, I would have to say. Take your money out. Yeah, that's what I would say. Brian P., did you see that AliExpress allegedly uses your browser's audio system to fingerprint your PC? Yes, yes. In fact, they're not the only ones. Hidden code runs even when no sound is playing. Yes. Yes, but okay, we haven't talked about it. Hold on a second. Let me go. Whoa, where's my stuff at? We haven't talked about that. Let me go do something else. Uh, I do know about it, but the thing is, they're doing all of them is doing this. This is what listen. All of these companies that are in tech, all the companies are putting things in your browser that you don't know about. Yes, your browser, all this stuff is a virus. Your whole computer system is a virus. It can get hacked. They can put stuff inside your browsers. They can put stuff on your software. This is what Samsung, Google, all these guys in your phones have web crawlers. They have spiders. They also have bots. You're going to other people's platforms and you're infesting their bots and their web crawlers and spiders in their stuff. They're all doing it to stay ahead. That's what they're doing. All of them. There's no shocker. All of them. That's what they've wasted their time and energy and effort on, is to make sure that they can put hidden cookies, hidden things inside your cameras, inside your speaker, everything. All right? Just letting you know. So that's why America has a problem with bringing over foreign products, because they know they have the same thing. All right? They just effed up. So the only way you can protect yourself is you got to have a way to protect. It's sickening out here. Okay, you can take out all your profits. Oh, that sounds like a winner. Okay, well then I'm on it. I'll be on it shortly, right after this live stream, immediately. How soon do you get it though? Did you already do that? Did you get your money downloaded already? Okay. Brian P., you should not have done this. You should not have done this. You're going to get me on a hot streak. You're going to get me on a heater. Land Report 100. Who owns the most land in the United States? This is not going to end well. This is not going to end well. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. We got to go look at this. You don't know what country you live in. All these guys are making you pay for natural resources. Aquifers pay for water. Fruit grows on trees. They chop down the fruit groves. You know, I mean, just Silly, silly, sickening. All right, here. Oh, from the heirs of Teledyne founder Henry Singleton. Okay, Emerson family. 2.44 acres, million acres, 2.44 million acres. California, Oregon, and Washington through their timber products company, Sierra Pacifics. You know that paper company? There you go. Wow, this is pitiful, man. John Malone, he bought it from. This is insane. This is insane. Number eight. Who's number eight? King Ranch heirs. King Ranch family in Texas. 911,000 acres. Zane, number 22, 455,000 acres, New Mexico and Texas. Simplot family, 443,000 acres, Boise, Idaho. Taylor Sheridan, 267,000 acres, Texas and Wyoming. Bedigan family. This is insane right now. This is insane. Uh-oh. Check, mic check. Hold on. Hold on. Check, mic check. Wow, these guys, man. Check, mic check. See, ladies and gentlemen, we know what's going to happen when you start talking about trademarks. When you talk about asset protection, everybody else can talk. We get down to the nitty gritty for free, no courses to sell. This is what happens. This is crazy right now. That's crazy. All right. We can hear you. Thank you so much. I made over 8K with them, but some people got scammed. Now they chase everything, boss, but try to take all your profits out if you can. Yes, I am after this live stream, which I'm about to end this live stream in less than 2 minutes. So I just want to tell everybody, if you need any help, you know where to find me. Support at stopstrugglingnow.com. I don't do mentorships. I don't do anything like that. Just send me a message. I'll answer on my own free time, and I'll help you out the best I can. All right, on anything. It doesn't have to be just trademarks. It can be anything. But these guys are scammers. Trademark division is scammers. I gaslit you. There is nobody that's going to charge you $35 plus your trademark fees. That's not going to happen. They just want the $35. And then they're going to try and upsell you while they're straggling you along saying, here, we need to show you and send you some stuff. Are you sure you might need 3 classes? So that means it's 3 times 35. So you got to give us 105. That's what they're going to do. All right. They're scammers. Anytime you see things that are too good to be true, check it out. But they're scammers. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's wrap it up. Make sure you smash that like button on the way out. Make sure you understand what's going to happen. By the end of this year, you're going to need a 775 credit score. You're going to need a bank account outside the United States. And you're going to need a business or real estate outside the United States. Are you going to have all 3 of those? Because you're going to need those. And you have a runway afterwards, but that's what's happening. At the end of 2027, December 31st, you're going to need ownership. That means trademarks. That means domain names. That means LLCs or corporations. That means you structure them under a holding company. The holding company is going to own these other companies, and they operate separately. Just so you know, the basic structure. So they operate separately. Even though you own it, the holding company owns it. You're going to be a managed member authorized person, but you're going to have to get a little more extreme. But just remember, you want a managed LLC, all right? Your holding company has to act like a holding company. And if you have a board, you should. Your board is going to have to make their minutes, have to have at least an annual meeting. Quarterly would be better. That means you could be on Zoom. That means you can just make a meeting. It can be, whatever. You better be diligent, because if you ever have a lawsuit, they're going to try to bust your corporate veil. So therefore, you have to operate. Your LLCs operate like a business. You're going to have meetings too, right? You write it down. Even though you may be the only individual, you better do it, because they're going to say it's your alter ego is this whole infrastructure. So they're going to bust your corporate veil if you don't act like each business is separate. So if you do a business deal, your holding company has to authorize a deal. They own it. You have to write it down. Yes, this was approved this date. Then you have to have a contract between you and the other company, just as if that company was not yours. And you have to base it on you're doing the fiduciary duty of the LLC. So in essence, you're competing against yourself on both levels. If you have a board, then your board gets to vote. And now that changes the dynamics. You don't own the whole structures. Now all of a sudden, hold on, you can vote? Okay. So that means everything may not pass. Simple. But that also means it's not your alter ego. That means that's a corporate structure. You're not running everything. So that's the dilemma that you face when you have multiple companies. And oftentimes these days, you should have multiple companies. If you're doing something that's going to be high level making money, you probably should have a holding company and make sure all the assets are sitting with the holding company. Because if you have an operating company, then your operating company does public face-to-face business with the public. Those are the people that could sue you, your company. Now, if your assets are inside your company and you lose the lawsuit, they can take your trademarks. They can take your patents. They can take your source code if you can't pay them. They can take your domain names that you make money with. Do you understand? That's what this is going to come to, quite frankly. Because that's what the gatekeepers basically do anyhow. That's how they try to take out other businesses on the low. That would be competitors, because they don't have their paperwork right. They're not operating correctly, and they get their corporate veil smashed. Oh, you don't want to take our $200,000 offer? Okay, we'll go a different route then. Okay, just keep this in mind. If you're going to be doing something, especially that's going to be against some of the gatekeepers, you better structure everything correctly. Hopefully that helps out. Hopefully you guys learned something tonight. You got asset protection with the trademarks. I even gave you a little more asset protection with the holding companies. What else kind of protections do you need out here? Assets, and you own it, so nobody can take it away from you. And you got to make sure nobody can take it away from you. Just remember that. So structure everything appropriately, especially if you start saying I need 2, 3, 4 LLCs, different companies, then you better have a holding company. And you better have your assets in the holding company. And your holding company does not interact with the public. In fact, they are unknown. Let's just put it that way. People can pull up paperwork and see the LLC is owned by them, but nobody's been to the office, because the holding company does no business with anybody other than maybe trying to make corporate deals for other companies you own or something. But you're not talking to nobody with the holding company. It's just a structure up there. You're just having meetings and you're making decisions on what you're doing, because you have to authorize these other companies that you own. You have to have intercompany deals. You might have a licensing deal from your holding company. In other words, you might want to have your trademarks, your holding company do the trademarks, and you license the trademarks down to your other company. So your company doesn't hold the trademarks. Because if you ever get in a lawsuit, those trademarks will go bye-bye if you lose. Because that means the judge, if you live in 48 out of 50 states, your structure, because it's not in Wyoming or it's not in Delaware, you're gonna get your company, probably corporate veil, kicked over by the judge. If you're in another state, especially, and they'll allow you to be sued, so you'll have a charging order. Just keep this in mind, okay? All right, because you're going to be out here you're going to be competing against the big boys, because only the big boys, if you're going to do something technologically different or you're going to do something innovative, then you're going to be a target if you get big enough. So if you start your structure the proper way, then you can defend yourself. All right, because they will be trying to take the legs out from underneath you. So anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, let's wrap this up. Hopefully you learned something. Make sure if you did learn something, smash that like button. If you like what we're talking about, subscribe to the channel and click the all notification bell. And if you really love it, then become a member of the channel and show some support. Because, oh my, we don't get any money from doing this. Can you believe that? You want to know why? Because this video you're watching right now, it's only going to have 100 views. All right? Nothing wrong with that. But this is what we live with here, because we give you the real. We don't have courses. All right? And Brian P. said it best. Your wealth, your health is wealth. That's another thing. Thanks, boss. You're welcome, Biznessa. All right. Now, the other thing, your health is wealth, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Get your boxes. Get your seeds. Get your fertilizer. Get your sand, whatever you're going to use. Make sure you start growing your fruits and vegetables so you pick it off the vine. Because if you haven't been checking the recalls right now, hold up a second. Let me see if I have something. There's a list of like 60 recalls right now. Right now. All kind of food, all kind of fruits, all kind of vegetables, all kind of stuff at the grocery store, all kind of beef, all kind of pork. It's out of control. It's like they did this on purpose. Like we told you so they would. That's what the big beautiful bill would help you do. That's what Project 2025 said. Just like Project 2025 said that they're going to kill wild horses. What did they start doing this past week? At our national parks, they're killing horses. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I love you guys very much. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, and it's only going to get harder. The squeeze is on. You guys don't understand what's happening. America at one time had over 220 to 250 million Americans working. We are now down to roughly 160 million Americans with AI and robots on the standby. We don't need attorneys as much as we needed before. You don't need a lot of things because you can get information that before you could not get through AI. So AI data centers throws out toxic chemicals in your soil and water. So now that's a dead end. They suck up energy, and our energy grid, thanks to the GOP party, does not want to have anything to do with air, wind, solar, or hydrogen power. They want coal. Coal's out. So now China, guess what? If China wants data centers, they've been building, you guessed it, green energy. So their green energy can power all their data centers. America, not so much. You know, descendants of the EU who ran away from their bullshit before are now running America like their ancestors who fled their countries because they did this exact same garbage. Okay, I'm sorry. With all that said, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you stay safe out here because you never know what's going to happen. Because due to ICE grabbing people acting like they're not ICE, other than they're wearing ICE gear, but they're not really ICE, they have started to show up trying to kidnap and hurt people. We knew this was going to happen. All of this is for, there was no reason. There was no reason to spend trillions of dollars on a war or ICE or making new concentration camps in 2026. There was no reason to deport people when they already were checking in at the immigration offices and had court cases. There's no reason for taxpayers to be paying $775 per person that's in the concentration camp. And no reason to send people from America to Africa who's not from Africa and dropping people off that you kidnapped in America and we footing the bill. This is why it's over. This is why you better get assets, you better protect yourself, you better start a business, then you better get your trademark, or you better have a copyright. If you're going to write anything, you better have a source code with GitHub. You better have all of it. Otherwise, it's a wrap. You're going to be renting for the rest of your life, and guess what happens when you rent? I can charge you whatever the market bears, even if the market can't bear it, because since I own it, and since I make money from other locations, I'll let it sit empty before I sell it to you or for rent to you for $2,500 a month, even though the going rate in the area is $2,000. I really don't care because you know I'm an asshole rich guy. I'm sitting there going, somebody will give me the money. Otherwise, I ain't going to rent it. I don't need to. I own it. I have other units that I'm renting. F it. It can sit there empty. Who cares? That's what we're dealing with right now. You guys don't understand. It's bubbling, but in about a year, you're going to understand. Everything's in motion already. They're 2/3 through Project 2025. I suggest you go read the book. They're already 2/3 through. Why don't you just read the third, the last third? And oh my, do you have a country after that? Let's go. I'm tired. Trump announced August 2026 he concluded a deal to import 300,000 metric tons of beef to the U.S. That's correct. That's that Argentinian beef that China turned down. And Google, ladies and gentlemen, it's toxic. It's been shot up with toxic chemicals. That's why China turned it down. That's also why it's cheap. And ask yourself, does that sound like America first? Why are they bypassing American cattle for some toxic beef? And it's already some in stores in Florida and Texas. Oh, bless their hearts. It's in Florida and Texas, thankfully. You deserve what you voted for. That's the way I look at it. I can't even be nice anymore. Your pedo protectors. I can't even be nice no more. All right? This is so sick. You got pedo protectors trying to tell people how to live. I'm like, dude, you're a pedo protector. You got anything you say is disqualifying. You're rocking with this. And you're rocking with the racism as well. And you're rocking with them assassinating American citizens, AKA by ICE. You're rocking on that team. I'm sorry. Whatever you got to say, man, is you just shut the fuck up. All right, let's go. Yeah, we're importing this beef. Exactly. It's already in Florida and Texas. They imported it to Florida and Texas, which is a slap in the face of Texas cattle ranchers. They're like, wait, we got beef to sell? What are you doing right now? And then Argentina, who China said we can't take it because it's infected. America says, hold our beer. We don't really care about our American citizens because we're not giving them health care for all in the first place. So what if they get sick? We only have 150 to 160 jobs that's available, and we have 350 million Americans. You live in a third world country. But nonetheless, you have half the population can't get a job. And that's going to climb because at the end of this year, you're going to have more robots in factories, in burger chain stores and everything. So it's going to start reducing even more. Lawyers are going to lose their jobs. So now you're going to have lawyers, realtors, real estate companies going out of business. Banks should be going out of business as well. They should have went out of business in 2008. That's going to happen again. We're already deficit of $40 trillion and climbing. We're going to spend another $1 trillion this year. Spend. We're already at $1 trillion. So it's going to be what? 1.5, 2.5? It's going to be 2.5 trillion. We don't have any money. We're printing money. When you print money, that causes inflation. And now the DEI hire Besant, he comes out here and says, We are going to buy United States bonds. I'm looking around like somebody slapped this fool. We don't have any money. That means you have to print more money in order to buy bonds that the United States is going to owe 4.4% on. We already spend more than $1 trillion in interest every year on the $38 trillion. Do you know what you could have done with $1 trillion to begin with? Everybody would have health care. Everybody would have free college. Everybody would have free school. But these fools, Scott Bessent, the DEI hire, is talking about printing $1 trillion to buy United States bonds. In other words, that's like buying, you have a corporation, the United States taxpayers give you subsidies, you turn around and said, oh, we're just going to buy our stocks back. What the? Somebody please, man. This is why these mothers got to be taken out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, I can't take it no more. This is why I have to kick their ass in business so we can have the billions of dollars. Then we can do the damn thing that's supposed to be right. And then we can also bribe the frickin' congressmen so they can get these dumbasses out the way. Otherwise, our country is toast the way these guys are running it. All right, enough. I'm sorry, Brian P. I gotta go. I gotta go. Let me get a drink or something, because this gets me pissed off. We're in the capitalist system. We're in a democracy. We're in a constitution. But that was all a fantasy. It's not true. Just remember, the first thing you do in the morning, boys and girls, when you're at school, liberty and justice for all. That right there, you should have already been like, did this thing really say justice for all? What am I doing a pledge to that? There ain't no justice for all in America. That's all a lie. Okay, by the way, I'm out. I'm getting overly excited because this is, we're out here working hard. Meanwhile, they're taxing us like they worked for it. And then they're going, we don't have to give you anything for your taxes, but we're going to import beef. We're going to make sure that we're not going to take vaccines. We're going to make it act like we know what we're talking about while people are out here dying. And American citizens are dying, and we got other American citizens going, that's the cost of living in America. You know who's saying that? Nobody. But the maggots believe it. The GOP party believe it. They're making sure that there's no health care for all. They're making sure there's no vaccine availabilities. They're making sure the food supply is tainted. This is the GOP party doing all this garbage. They're a domestic terrorist society, because otherwise, why would you import beef that you know is tainted and you're going to give to the American citizens? Why would you not vaccinate people and say, oh yeah, you know, measles, chicken pox, all that stuff that hardly anybody gets? Yeah, all of a sudden we're going to have an outbreak. How about the screw worm? Oh yeah, no problem. We'll just stop the screw worm studies. We never had that before, but you know, the American citizens, they're going to eat this food that's going to be tainted. They can't go to the hospital because we cut the coverage. They're like domestic terrorists out here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough. I'm done. I'll see you guys on another day. But make sure, no matter what you do, in order for me to keep coming back, hit that like button, subscribe button. Make sure you hit the all notification bell, and make sure you tell people, because enough of this dumbassery going on out here. But okay, let's just say dumbassery continues. January 9th, 2028, the real takeover begins. I'll just say that. And with all that said, make sure no matter what you do out here, because people are crazy. If you think I'm crazy, people are crazy. And people are out here trying to do you harm. And going through life, the la land, acting like America is fine, it's not. It's really not fine. I can't eat food right now. I can't even go to the grocery store and think that the food is not tainted. You follow what I'm saying? This is where we're at right now. You guys better really think about this, because if you really get sick, the hospital is not a place you want to be. Just saying. Stop playing with yourself out here. And with all that said, make sure you keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.